Existentialism is a philosophical concept that deals with the meaning in one's existence. To put it simply, it means to be yourself and just yourself. Existentialism is concerned with finding yourself and the meaning of life through free will, choice, and personal responsibility. The belief is that people are searching to find out who and what they are throughout life as they make choices based on their experiences, beliefs, and outlooks. An existentialist believes that a person should be forced to choose and be responsible without the help of laws, ethnic rules, or traditions. Personal choices then become unique without the necessity of an objective form of truth.
A small but important factor of existentialism worth noting is the idea that existence precedes essence. Meaning is found through authenticity, which is founded upon the inert. Categorizing is inherently based upon external values and expectations, and therefore cannot be used to describe authenticity. What this ultimately means is that existentialists believe that labels that we give ourselves and labels that society give us cannot be used to define our existence. This means that existentialists do not believe that things like religion, culture, ethnicity define us. They believe that these labels merely serve as tools to help us conform to the masses, and conformity to the masses is a meaningless existence.
Existentialists believe that the meaning in one's existence must be found by living an authentic existence. Existentialism stresses an idea of authenticity. They believe that existence is given meaning through authenticity, and authenticity cannot be categorized. To be authentic is to be true to the inner beliefs an individual holds. Martin Heidegger put this idea in perspective by his examination of religion. Authenticity is often coupled with the idea of passion. Heidegger believed that if an individual was truly passionate about a moral code that a religion entailed, then that moral code is authentic to that individual. Meaning, even without religion, this individual would still abide by this moral code. If an individual abides to certain beliefs only because religion, authority, or society tells one to, those beliefs are not authentic. As Søren Kierkegaard stated, the crowd is untruth. This is where existentialists make the argument that feelings of anxiety, nothingness, absurdity, and alienation are necessary to experience authenticity. It is through these feelings an individual turns away from accepted expectations and is forced to look at themselves through the lens of authenticity.
So there might be certain crises when we feel that the meaning of our life is more at issue or in doubt. And Kierkegaard, rather than saying, well, those are just things you go through at a certain age and then you put them to rest forever, he's someone who says we should take those moments seriously. And we should worry about ourselves if we never have any of those moments, because those are the moments in which we're really feeling the force of the uncertainty of human existence, combined with the fact that we're finite. And so all of these sort of famously existential moods like anguish, despair, melancholy, and so forth, they're ones that Kierkegaard does gravitate toward in certain ways. To someone who hasn't been captivated by existential philosophy, it can appear to be just a school of thought that involves a lot of wallowing in bad moods, you might say. And yet, if there's an attention to something like anxiety in Kierkegaard's work, if he thinks that we should all take a state of anxious uncertainty seriously and try to learn from it, it's not because he thinks that such states of mind are enjoyable in themselves or that they ought to be cultivated to the maximum degree, but that they might show us something true.
Søren Kierkegaard, Friedrich Nietzsche, and Martin Heidegger's work was the base in which existentialistic thought was built upon. These are all 19th century philosophers. Existentialism began to develop and build momentum during the times where tension between European countries were prominent. These frustrations and disillusionment of the world fueled the growth of existentialism. As war finally broke out, existentialism continued to gain momentum, and by the 1940s and 1950s, existentialism flourished almost like a cultural movement. This popularization can be contributed to Jean-Paul Sartre and Albert Camus' writings. It is worth noting that Camus rejected many existential ideals, and Sartre is who truly contributed the most to the popularization of existentialism. Existential ideals of rebellion and self-expression probably influenced the artistic world and the music world. During this era, many artists and musicians began to challenge conventional methods of composition. In the modern world, existentialism is treated as a piece of intellectual history. Just as the ideas of empiricism, psychoanalysis, and structuralism are not prevalent or applicable today, neither is existentialism. Existentialism flourished during a time of disillusionment, when people began to feel alienated from worldly affairs. The feelings of disillusionment and alienation arguably fueled the ideas of existentialism, but with a lack of such feelings today, existentialism is just not relevant anymore.